Hi everybody. Yeah, I'm going to talk about RTC, on more especially on the Cosmic platform, on what we are doing with it for Mikado. So I will go ahead with a very quick overview of what is Cosmic, and then I will present you the current software design we have for this platform, the performance we get with it, and also some prototyping activities that we are leading here at Lesia for the Mikado SKAO RTC. So very fast, Cosmic is a common open platform for adaptive optics system. So the goal is to leverage our previous GreenFlash project, in which we studied various heterogeneous architecture to implement main RTC function using GPU and FPGA. Cosmic is also based on some libraries from the Cacao software stack developed by Olivier Guyon and already used in SKAO. And we have already some future RTC which will use this platform. So Mikado, of course, but also for now, Cake and Mavis, for example. On here, all the partnership we have and the collaboration we have for this project. So an overview of the software design. So here at the bottom, you have the figure provided by ISO for what they define as a RTC. So it's split between two subparts, the SRTC, which basically perform some data task and get telemetry from the HRTC, which is the hard real-time RTC, where the real-time processes are running, and you have some telemetry between both and so on. And for Cosmic, the architecture we have is very close to that. We have three main software stack. The first one, chips, is related to the SRTC. I will not talk a lot about it today, as we are more focused today on this both. So TIDES handles, in fact, all the telemetry, and Ocean is the hard real-time part. So the goal for Cosmic is to reach high modularity, scalability, and to do so, it's based on independent processes, on a high level of abstraction for all those software stack, and a very easy to use and easy to develop Python-based controller to configure and control all this stuff. So this now focus on the hard real-time part, so what we call our Ocean stack. This stack is composed of three software. I will begin by Octopus here on the scheme. So Octopus is what we call our manager of shared memory. As we are based on multiple processes, we use shared memory to distribute data between all the processes. And Octopus is an abstraction layer that allows to access shared memory on various devices transparently. So it could be CPU, on the GPU, and we are working on porting it into FPGA. And it also embeds some synchronization mechanism between the process. So you can synchronize using semaphore for CPU SHM, or also busy wait directly on the GPU. So Octopus is directly based on the Cacao framework. We use ImageStream.io and the function parameter structure. Thanks to that, we are also able to connect this hard real time to the external world, such as telemetry, some hardware, and also the simulator that we use to validate all the pipeline running inside the RTC. Then we have Marlin, which is the core real-time software. So this is where the real-time computing is done. Basically, well, it's a multiple, it's split between multiple process. Each Marlin unit here is in charge of one computation inside the pipeline. So for example, you have one unit for CentrIDIC, one unit for MVM, one unit for calibration, and so on. And each unit is in fact composed by two processes. You have the main business unit, which is the core real-time task, implementing the computation, and it comes with a configuration daemon, which goal is just to synchronize the parameter needed by the business unit between a Redis database that is used as a controller input to configure and change on the fly the parameter used by the real-time process. And finally, on top of that, you have the Kraken, our Python controller, which is used to control, configure, and monitor the real-time pipeline. So here an example of the monitoring we have with Kraken. So we have here all the business units running for a pipeline. So, for example, this is the camera, all the telemetry processes. We have a CentrReader, a controller which is performing the MVM plus the integrator, and also a connection to a physical DM. So in this panel, you have some information on the health of each process, its status, the loop counter, and so on. You have more details panel to have a very fine control on what is going on. And also all of it is fully compatible with the GUI developed in Kakao. Now I move on Tides for the data streaming, for the telemetry and the control command. So Tides is also an abstraction layer in which we define the data format for the streaming and the architecture of the streaming. So it's in fact a publish subscribe mechanism. And for now, the implementation we have of this abstracted layer is based on RTIDDS with a no-copy mechanism to ensure very low latency. And we foresee implementation based on raw UDP and MUDPI for ISO compliance. Sorry. So I talk about data format we define for DDS. So basically, I go quick on that. And the other part of Tides is the control command of the RTC from another machine, for example, through the network. So it's also an abstraction layer where we define the client-server architecture and a request format, where in fact the client requests the server to execute a method inside the Kraken controller and to return through the network the return of the specified method. And currently, the available implementation is based on ZeroMQ. So to move on the performance, here is the pipeline that we use to simulate the Mikado scale. So we have a process which emulates a camera. So basically, it provides a random image at a specific frame rate, here 1 kHz. And then you have a business unit in charge of the calibration on the full pixel algorithm. For Mikado, we use a pyramid wavefront sensor. And then you have a controller performing the MVM and the integration. MVM is performed over multi-GPU, here on 4 GPU. And then you have 3 telemetry process to retrieve the loop data, so slopes and commands, but also the WFS raw image and the calibrated image. And finally, we have a final process which is just used to perform the timing of all the pipeline from the availability of a new image to the end of a computation of the corresponding command vector. So basically, what is missing here is also the injection of large data. In fact, we are doing command matrix update, and to be sure that the copy of this data will not impact the MVM, we ensure that the copy is performed during some idle inside the RTC. And this can be done by updating this kind of matrix by small chunk splitting over several iterations. And the result I will show here have been on a DGX-1 V100 over 4 GPUs. And this is basically what we get for Mikado. So we measure the performance in terms of mean execution time, but also in terms of jitter, so RMS and peak to valley. And basically, we reach 200 microsecond average in terms of execution time with a very, very low jitter, with up to 23 microseconds on peak to valley. So we are, of course, very happy with this kind of performance, and we foresee, in fact, a speed up with the next generation of NVIDIA GPU, as we have been invited by NVIDIA to use their new DGX-1 A100 as a proof of concept well, 2 months ago now. And the result we had during this test show up a 40% improvement for Compass, our end-to-end simulation. But unfortunately, we were not able to reproduce this speed up for the RTC application because of a CUDA 11 bug that we detected during this test. So one of the output of this test was a bug report, which is currently under investigation at NVIDIA. So we hope once it will be resolved, we could reach this kind of speed up even for the RTC. Now I move on the prototyping activities. So we have a bench here at Lesia, which we call Pircado, to simulate the Mikado SKAO. So using a pyramid wavefront sensor, an LPAO DM with well, more than 3,000 actuators, and we can produce turbulence using a SLM plus Compass. And the RTC we want to use on this bench is well, a server with 2 NVIDIA Quadro RTX 8000 inside. So the goal is now to plug this RTC onto the bench. So the first test we did was quite simple to try to measure the overall latency of the RTC. So we plug a camera on the RTC, and the camera was in front of a LED box connected to the LPAO DM electronics. And from the RTC, we send some circular buffer of perturbation voltage in order to lighten a LED at a specific frequency, at a known frequency. And we retrieve the telemetry of the RTC to finally compare the volt and the slope, and to see when the camera sees the LED light on. Well, the test was made at 1 kHz, but basically the output was this kind of small glitch. Here you see this is the circular buffer we did. So we just bright on the LED for 2 frames, and then we switch off. And what we see here is on the slope, you see so the LED here on 2 frames, but here only on one frame. This is missing. We are missing some information here, and it was very periodic. So after a lot of debug, we finally plugged the camera onto an oscilloscope, and we finally see that this glitch was in fact due to the camera, which was sleeping sometime for an unknown reason. So next we move on, and we are currently trying to plug the RTC directly, this time on the Pyrcado bench. So we are going into a lot of development and debugs on our in-house SRTC software called Adopt, developed by Fabrice Vidal. Well, currently the HRTC is located on the prototype, on the SRTC on our workstation. Communication over tights between the two machines. And while I'm speaking, I know that Eric Gendron is performing some interaction matrix right now. So we hope to be able to close the loop this week. In conclusion, so for the Cosmic software architecture, so as I said, this is based on high level of abstraction to reach the high modularity and scalability that we aim. We propose an optimized core real-time architecture, very simple to configure and to implement, thanks to this abstraction level. And we already obtained great performance on several scales. So I show you some performance on Mikado scale, but we also did some benchmark for Cake and Mavis. And on the prototyping part, we already have an RTC prototype built and running. We are going onto our first state on bench. The timing we have on bench confirmed that we have a high and stable performance in terms of timing. And as I said, we are trying to close the loop this week. Well, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Florian. We've had one question during the talk. So regarding the performance measurements, this is from Horst Steyr. Apologies for my pronunciation. Is the camera emulator and the telemetry loop data receiver on the same machine, or does the performance timing also include the sending and receiving of ModPy packages over Ethernet?
So for the first question, yes, the emulator was on the same machine for this small test, for this kind of benchmark. And I didn't get the next question.
So do you include the sending and receiving of data packets over ModPy, for example?
Inside this timing, we don't have the timing of receiving the image, but we have the time to send the image to the DM. We have the sending, but not the receiving.
Does that answer your question, Horst?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. I had one. So please, if anybody's got any other questions on this, we've got a little bit of time for questions now. So if anybody's got any questions, please raise your hand or post something in Slack. So I had one. So when you've got the latency measurements of the Mikado SCO system, which latency did you measure? Was it last pixel in to first command out, or?
It's the latency between, yes, the last pixel received and the readiness of the DM command. The readiness of the last DM command.
Okay.
When so the DM command is ready has been computed.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions that people have on this? It's quite a comprehensive set of tools and results that you showed us there. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
So I guess the kind of the longer term question that I kind of have is really kind of there are several different AO systems, real-time control systems being developed. I don't think I've ever counted up how many are currently in development, but I think it's about 5, all looking at roughly the same kind of issues and problems. And I just wondered if I could get your opinion really on how far we are from being able to really, in your perspective, run kind of the next generation XAO systems at the 2-4 kilohertz that we'd need to have.
Very good question first. Well, then, well, I can say that with Cosmic, I think we should arrive with something that is pretty strong to handle this kind of problem. Thanks to the scalability and the modularity we can reach with the architecture. We already, just for fun, did some simulation at several kilohertz with result, with pretty nice result, in fact. Well, depending on the system, it was more for for a sphere upgrade at 4 kilohertz, a sphere system at 4 kilohertz. It was running pretty well, in fact. But then, of course, in fact, the problem arises when you want to plug the RTC inside the real system. It's already there where the problem, the issue arises. So this is the process we are going on now, trying to plug our RTC prototype inside the bench, on the bench. In simulation, everything works fine, of course, but well, all the problem arise at this step. On well, I think we will have a lot of surprise at this time. It's quite hard to answer your question precisely.
No. It was just kind of your opinion. I mean, obviously we've got people are starting to think about kind of ELT scale XAO, where the problem sizes are somewhat more challenging. And it was really just I think everybody's not necessarily looked beyond the 8 meter XAO or the ELT, the first light ELT instruments really at the minute. So I think still challenges ahead, but should be a fun time.
Yeah, but in terms of pure performance, I think also with NVIDIA GPU, with the next architecture, as we saw 2 months ago, well, it's going on the right direction, even in the industry for us.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much.